What's up, everybody? Well, I got another gameplay video for you guys today, and today we're going to finish up F122. I've got less than 4 hours remaining, but it shouldn't take me 4 hours to get the footage I need, so we should be good. So let's hop right in, because we're all ready to go. I didn't really need to do much. Put my controller on, same thing for Stray, it'll be easy. Don't even need to get a mouse pad or mouse or anything. Just hook my controller up, and we're good to roll. So let's hop in and look at some settings, shall we?
Well, alright. Time to do some 4K F1 now, so let's just look at these display settings once. We're only going to come to the screen once, well, twice. But we won't be coming back until the very end when we do FSR. Until then, we'll just go to the graphics quality screen. Alright, and yeah, we'll do this FSR thing at the very end. So now we reach the bottom, so now let's go look at the ultra-low settings. Well, here we are with some ultra-low settings, so let's just scroll on through here, shall we? And then we can do a benchmark and get into the gameplay. I'm excited to see if we can stay at 60 the whole time. Though I really wished it would stop maxing out at the monitor's refresh rate, but it is what it is. Now let's go run a benchmark. Hey, look at that! It didn't max out at 60. That'd be cool if 4K just, like, completely stops doing that. The only thing that scares me is I have to, like, restart the game after this to do the, go up to low settings. But anyway, we got 124 minimum, 145 average, and 165 max. So, now let's get into that gameplay. Well, here we go with some ultra-low gameplay to start with. And this is cool, we're over 60 FPS. I hope it'll stay that way, but as I was saying in the settings screen, I do have to restart the game to switch to low graphics settings. That's the only time it has me restart, too. That's really strange. I wonder what's the differentiating factor between ultra low and just low. And then none of the other ones need a restart. It's very strange. I was tempted to just restart, but I could tell it was doing something just in the menu by it changing the FPS in the up or the upper left, so I didn't bother restarting where I didn't need to. So far, so good. Look at all that. Even though this is ultra low, of course, it's still 4K, so that's pretty awesome. Oh, that was bad. They didn't yell at me though. I'm surprised. Usually, I get like a, "Hey, you're going over the thing." Oh, did they flag me now? No, I think there's always that weird yellow mark there. I don't know. It's hard to keep up with all the things going on in F1. Around the corners we shall go. Where will we stop? Well, hopefully around the next corner, not in a wall. Though I have definitely hit a few walls in this game. Luckily, though, with whatever difficulty setting I'm on, I just kind of bounce off of them. I feel like in real life, you're kind of like, alright, well, your wheels break off and you die. Anyway, here's the finish line. Let's move on.
Alright, we got ourselves some camera recorded gameplay here at 4K on ultra low. And for whatever reason, we're getting over 60 FPS, so I'll take it. I don't know why my two monitors were being lame, but hey, I'll take it on the 4K. I thought that one was going to be especially lame, just being stuck at 60 the whole time. Although the game still has to restart to go back to low, so I hope when I do that it doesn't get stuck doing that. I guess we'll find out. But I can hope and pray it just stays doing what it's doing. It's definitely fun playing this kind of game on big screen, though. That's why I love playing Forza Horizon in my game room on the 4K OLED TV. That thing makes every game look so nice. And across the line.
Alright, here's the settings for low. Now I did have to restart, but I'm still hoping that it just stayed on whatever it was stuck on before. Maybe it was, since it maxed out at 165, it makes me wonder if it was stuck at 1440p hertz, because that one is maxed at 165, and it maxed at 165, so that's just a theory. Anyway, let's move on to bench. Well, low benchmark got done, and unfortunately, nope. We're stuck at 60 FPS now, which sucks. But we did basically stay right at 60 the whole time, so I guess the name of the game now will be how long can we stay at 60 FPS for? Anyway, let's hop into the game. Well, here we go with some low gameplay now. And at least according to the benchmark, it should just stay at 60 the whole time. Which it looks like it is. Ooh, he almost got in front of me there, but I shut him down without pit maneuvering myself this time, so that is good. I've definitely got myself pit maneuvered on a few people on a few separate occasions in this game so far. Alright, and away we go down the straight. Alright, so we're doing pretty decent, I think. Obviously not frame rate, but I think I'm doing a pretty good lap time for my first lap anyway. I can't remember where, but eventually I did end up hitting my 136 goal. Or 137 goal, I mean. So now my new goal is 136, but so far it hasn't happened yet, I don't think. Anyway, though, there's the finish line, so on we move.
Well, now we got some low gameplay, but unfortunately when I restarted, we got stuck at 60 FPS now. So that's kind of annoying. I don't know what happened in the ultra low that made me able to get over 60, but I wish that let me just do that throughout the whole game. But whatever. We're still gonna get the footage in and finish doing what we were doing. Because at least this shows that it can run it, at least at low. We'll see how far it can go in 4K before becoming unplayable. It'll probably happen sooner than later at 4K. 4K is a tough one to run. Here we go. Got around those corners no problem this time. Oh, went in too early there.
Well, here is the settings for medium now. Let's scroll on through them. There we go. There's the bottom. So now let's see how it does in a benchmark. All right, and it looks like on medium at 4K, you can still get 60 basically the whole time, at least according to the benchmark anyway, but that thing doesn't always, or isn't always accurate. So let's hop into the game and see what it gets. All right, so now we are on medium. Seems a little stuttery right there at the beginning there in the frame times, but let's see if it smooths out. Oh shit, he got in front of me again. You bastard. I will get back ahead of you the right way without hitting you a bunch. Because all that ever seems to do in this game is get me, like, pit maneuvered and fucked over, and then I lose, so. See if I can't get around him on this straight. Alright, fuck it then. I'll outbrake him. And then I'll go way outside, even though it sucks doing that, just so I don't pit maneuver myself on him, and there we go. Now we're ever so slightly ahead. Alright, that's much better than last time. Last time I totally got screwed over by that dude. Mostly by my own driving, but still, he got ahead of me right at the beginning, and if I didn't let him do that, none of that would have happened. Still my fault, but... Oh, caution. Oh, shit. I was looking at the caution thing and smashed into a wall there. Alright. Going under the whatever this place is. I want to say it's a museum for the racetrack, but to honest God, I don't know what it is. It could be anything. It could just be like some really fancy looking like pit stop. Who knows? But here is the finish line, so why don't we go ahead and move on?
Well, alright, we're on medium. I fucked up braking at the end there. I unpaused by accident before I was ready. And then I hit the Windows button thinking, oh, that'll pause the game. No, it doesn't. Not in every game. Some games it does, some games it doesn't. Hell, most games it doesn't. I think there's one game I ever played that it did. But that was enough to make me think, oh yeah, I can do it. But we're still getting 60 all the time, even on medium, so that's good. But will it be able to do the same on high? That's what I'm curious about. Hopefully. We're really not even using, we're barely using half of what the GPU can do. All right.
Onward to the high settings. So there we go. They were down here. So now we're on the high settings. So let's just cruise through these really fast. I'm still mastering the art of going from the starting recording window of Windows Recorder to the game. And there is the bottom, so let's do a bench. Alright, benchmark's all done, and we lucked out, at least according to the benchmark. Even on high, for 4K, we can hit 60 average, because we got 59 minimum, 59 average, and 60 max, so pretty awesome. But let's see if that holds true on this other racetrack. Every racetrack's different, after all. So let's hop into some gameplay. Alright, let's get some high gameplay in now. Let's see if we can stay around 60 the whole time. Seeing as though the GPU is at 69 to 70%, I'm willing to bet yes. Besides maybe a drop down to 59, 58, but games sometimes just do that, but it probably won't even do that. But since we're on high, why not get a little high? Man, that high-pass filter is awesome. You basically can't hear nothing. And I held the pole like right up to the mic. Alright, we're doing pretty good. For a first lap, that is. Obviously, my camera recorded portion is always going to be the second lap, so that's always going to be the one with a much more impressive time, but I always find if I can get like 140 or under, I'm a happy guy. But not easy to do while you're trying to pay attention to a bunch of stuff, so here's the finish line, so we can move on.
All right, now we're on high, and we're still effortlessly hitting 60. So that is good, and this is probably the way I would play, because I have a feeling that 4K is going to be absolutely awful without FSR. But we're still going to test it anyway. But for now, I'm just going to enjoy this nice, smooth gameplay. All right, let's see how we can do on this corner. Slow down a little bit. Half throttle and full.
All right, moving on to ultra high settings, which I do not think is going to be very good, and the reason I say that is it was pretty awful just at ultra wide, and this is 4K, which is way harder to run in ultra wide. Or not way harder, but still quite a bit harder. All right, we reached the bottom. Let's go run a bench. All right, the benchmark got done, and it's just as abysmal as I thought it was going to be. So we got a minimum of 16, an average of 19, and a maximum of 20. Absolutely unplayable. And it's going to be even worse than this when we get into the real game. I wouldn't be surprised if we hit like 11 FPS or 10 or 9 or something like that, but let's go find out. Well, here we are, and yeah, it was getting down to 10, 11 FPS. So, can I stay on the track? That is going to be the name of the game here. I will be surprised if I have the patience to actually do an entire lap like this, but I'm going to honestly try. Alright, somehow I didn't pit maneuver myself this time, but alright. Somehow I'm in first. Uh-oh, I exceeded the track limits a bunch. I'm in trouble now. Oh shit, I got time penalty. I'm in trouble. I'm gonna get slapped on the wrist by the F1 police. Oh shit. But no, 2 seconds doesn't matter. I'm not completing the actual race. That's meaningless to me, but he doesn't know that. Alright, let's see here. I still need to practice with that guy. Alright, I think I actually did a pretty good job on that one, considering I'm getting like 16 FPS. All I can say is this is not easy. I think the only reason I can do this at all is because I've gone around this track so many times. But I do not have my normal giant lead that I normally have right now by the time we get close to the finish line. I'm just barely in front of them. And alright, let us move on.
Alright, this is ultra high quality now camera, and yeah, we're not getting very many FPS. To be perfectly honest, I have no idea how I'm even in first place right now. I got like flagged a bunch for going off the track up here at the beginning. I think the only reason I can do this is because I've gone around this track so much. This is horrible frame rates. Absolutely abysmal. And it's so low, I don't think FSR can save us, because by the time it can and give us playable frame rates, it's going to look so bad, you'd want to just drop the resolution down from 4K anyway. Or just lower some settings or not use ray tracing or something like that, you know? At least that's where my brain would be. But we're still going to jump through all the settings. We've come this far, we're not going to stop now. All right. Still horrible lap time.
All right, it is now time to move on to FSR. So, as you can see right here, I have turned it on, and we are going to start on quality. And this one doesn't have ultra quality. And we'll move on to ultra performance. But I'm not going to bother with these screens anymore, so I'm just going to show you this one time, and then we're also still on ultra high settings otherwise. But I always figure there's no point in showing the screen over and over again, seeing as I'm literally just flipping one toggle switch down every time. So now let's go run a benchmark and see how it does. Well, alright, starting on FSR Quality, we got 38 minimum, average of 44, and a maximum of 51. So, nope, we're not quite at 60 yet. I wonder if we'll be able to even hit 60. I guess we'll find out. But let's go get a little gameplay in. Well, here we are with FSR, and we're starting off on quality. And it doesn't look so bad, but we're still not getting great FPS. But I will say, I'd rather basically average 30-ish FPS than sit there and get 11 to 16. So at least now it's borderline playable. It's actually surprising how playable this feels compared to what I was getting with no FSR. But still, I would prefer to just play on high so far. Let's see what some of the other settings hold. 4K is probably the best all of these FSR settings are going to look, to be honest. Alright, let's get around this corner now. I still need a little work on these corners too. Especially when I do that. Ha! That would have been super broken wheel. And probably broken human. Alright though, let's move on.
Alright, we're starting out FSR on quality mode here. And it's amazing how playable like 30 to 40 FPS feels after you just dealt with like 11. I'm actually having like no trouble playing now. But don't get me wrong, I'd still like a lot more FPS in this. This is not how I would choose to play this game. This is just way better than it was just with ray tracing and no FSR. It doesn't really look that bad. At least not on quality in the background. Because I think this is just barely below 4K. I think that's why it doesn't really look that bad. I think Balanced drops it all the way down to like 1440p at 4K. I could be wrong, but I think that's how it works. And then Performance is 720p, and then Ultra Performance, I don't even know what the hell that one is. Ah, shit, I went off the track. But they didn't yell at me. Interesting. All right, go, go, go.
All right, balanced benchmark just got done, and we got minimum of 38, average 44, and maximum 50. So not really any different than quality, if I'm honest. This one always has confused me. It barely makes a difference. But whatever. Why don't we now move into the game and see how it plays? Well, here we go with some FSR Balanced gameplay now. And yeah, so far we're starting off at about the same 29, 31 FPS here, so yeah, it seems to be about the same as it was on quality, only I honestly noticed quite a bit of quality degradation in the plants and in the background and whatnot, but I will admit it's a lot less bad than it usually is on like lower resolutions. Fuck you, sign. Holy shit, that sign like went 10,000 miles an hour into the crowd. Did you guys see that shit? I mean, somebody just got seriously injured. I wonder if the driver has to pay for that or the track has to pay for that. Because it's not like he did it on purpose. Just had an accident. That is a puzzler. And it's different countries' laws, too. This isn't even in America, so who the hell knows how this country's laws would work? They might not care. Be like, hey, you're at a racetrack. You're basically saying, hey, something could happen, like a car could like come crashing down on you on a ball of flames, and you have to basically be okay with that to be here. And I'm alright with that. Makes sense. It's very unlikely to happen, but you kind of have to be okay with it happening a little bit. Just like when you fly in a plane, you have to be okay with that very small, minute chance that that thing might just go down in a ball of flames. But let's be honest, you have a way higher chance of getting in an automobile accident than ever getting in a plane crash, so. When I was a kid, I used to be scared of flying, but then I went on my first plane ride, and I was like, oh, this isn't so bad. Although I guess I'd change my tune if it was crashing. Anyway, though, here's the finish line, so why don't we move on?
Now we're on FSR Balanced, which doesn't seem to be doing anything more than quality was, except making it look worse. I mean, we might have gained a frame or two, but I don't think it'd be worth it, because everything in the background still looks worse. I was hoping at 4K it wouldn't be quite so bad, but nope. Everything in the background still is starting to look quite awful already. Go, little car, go! Oh, I hit some coney things. And here we go again.
Benchmark for FSR Performance is all done, and this time we got a minimum of 46, an average of 54, and we maxed out right at 60 FPS. So that made an improvement, but at what cost? How bad is it going to look? Hopefully not so bad since we're doing this at 4K, but only one way to find out. Let's hop into the game. Well, here we go with some FSR Performance. And we're up to 38 at the beginning, so definitely improvement, and it really doesn't look that much worse than Balance, so. Alright, seems like we're on to something here when you're on 4K. So far, none of the FSRs look absolutely abysmally horrible. Though I have a feeling that'll still change on the last one. No matter what, least if Cyberpunk is any iteration, it will be like pretty bad, because that made it look like I was playing like a PlayStation game with ray tracing. Damn that S-corner. That S-corner still fucks me every single time. One of these days I'll get it, though. Especially if I ever end up buying this game, which I probably will. I'm just going to wait for it to be on sale, though, personally. Because I'm pretty sure I also get, like, some money off since I'm a Game Pass member. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Alright, and there is the finish line, so let's move on.
Now for a little FSR Performance. And we're still not hitting 60. And it's starting to look quite poor in the background already. But it's still doing better than it was before a little bit, so it is definitely working. I wonder if Ultra Performance will get a 60 even while looking like probably really, really bad. And then I also have to remember I am sitting like really close to this 50-inch 4K TV. I'm going to notice a lot more things, especially with my insanely good eyesight. My eyesight is better than 2020.
Alright, FSR Ultra Performance Benchmark's finished, and we got a minimum of 59, average of 60, and a max of 60, so cool. As long as it doesn't look like complete ass, that's pretty awesome. So let's go see how it looks in the actual game. So, here we are with FSR on Ultra Performance, and yeah, it actually doesn't look super ultra awful. I definitely can tell there's something going on a lot now. Especially if you look at like the wires and stuff and look way into the background, but at least it's not as bad. I wonder what resolution it's actually rendering this at, though. 'Cause it still looks pretty low res, but not as low res as, like, say, on the Steam Deck. This would be like probably like something by like 140 or something, like 144p or something, because it's such a teeny resolution to begin with. Well, so far so good on the 60 FPS. Still, though, I think I would play this game just on high, with no ray tracing. Well, I think there's always medium ray tracing on, but that's probably not much. It's probably like ray trace reflections or something like that. And medium ray trace reflections aren't much. Even this GPU can handle that, as I showed you guys in Watch Dogs. I thought I was going to hit that. I don't think I actually hit that, though. All right, and there is the finish line, so let us move on.
Last up, we got some FSR Ultra Performance, and it still looks ultra crappy. But we are able to hit 60 now, so not at the very beginning when we started the race, but ever since. So there is at least that. This is the only time we've hit 60. Well, with ray tracing on, I should say. We were doing 60 effortlessly on all the way up to high. All right. Ah, I gave it throttle too early and we crashed into a wall. Oh well, it happens sometimes. At least it's not real life where I would have been like seriously injured. Well, all right. I guess it's time for us to go wrap this on up. So let's go wrap this game on up. Well, all right, guys, that is a wrap for F1 22. And it did great until we did ray tracing. So if you want to play the game and just not do ray tracing, no problem. But if you want to do 4K and ray tracing, it ain't gonna happen, at least not while looking good. You can FSR it, but as you saw, we didn't hit 60 until we turned it to ultra performance. And at that point, what the hell is the point of having 4K and ray tracing if it makes it look like shit? At least in my opinion. But at least we've gone through all the different things. So let's take ourselves a quick little victory hit. And we will call this video quits. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until the next one, peace out, guys.